Hello, everyone. Welcome to Joe Consume Cinema. I'm your host. If history has taught us anything, it's that any man can be killed. And today we have another installment in the Joe Revisit series with the 1974 film The Godfather Part II. Now, again, all-time great. We just did one amazing film to revisit after, so many years since I've last seen it. This should be no different. I love this film. I personally think 2 is better than 1. Some people disagree with that a lot. I just personally think it's the case. Literally, revisited these because I wanted to do 2, just because it has Robert De Niro in it, and it is one of his best overall acting performances. He plays Vito Corleone in like a series of flashbacks that really heighten the character, even though at this point in the story, Vito has, long since passed away. He gets buried at the end of 1. Also, Al Pacino is amazing in this. He fully embodies the role of Godfather in this movie because we see at the very end of the first one, everyone's coming in to kiss the ring, so to speak. He's masterfully eliminated all of his enemies at the end of 1, put his family in a really huge, strong position as the top mob family in America. No real rivals to speak of for the most part, except, we get introduced to some of them in this film. Also, I personally think this is John Cazale's best acting performance. He was okay in 1. We learn a little bit about Fredo, but I really like this portrayal here where he gets to the point where his jealousy and his self-doubt and personal insecurity, manifests itself to the point where he betrays his brother, leading to that great moment where Michael gives him the death kiss. I know it was you, Fredo. Classic moment in film. So yeah, this one's going to be really cool to revisit. Again, I watched 1 so I could get to 2 because we're on the Robert De Niro kick. We are getting towards the end. There's only going to be a few more of these left, and I have purposefully left some really big ones. It's going to lead up to our next revisiting actor. I think that's going to be, a major theme for the channel is I will focus on one actor and just go through all of their movies because it seems to have, worked out very well so far. We did it with Arnold. We're doing it right now with Robert De Niro, and pretty soon we're going to be doing it with another actor that you all know and love. As always, please remember to blank, blank, and blank. Channel's doing awesome right now. We are on the march to 5,000. Getting very close at this point. I've launched the Joe Consume Cinema Patreon. Every member of my Patreon gets a guaranteed movie request. I have the first season of The Penguin, the first season of Mr. Robot, and the second season of The Squid Game up on Patreon right now. I'm on season 2, episode 10 of Mr. Robot, going all the way through that entire series. It's more than 30, almost 40 reactions right there, plus the guaranteed movie request. I personally feel that's a really good deal for, $2 per month. But if money's tight, I understand. You could always sign up as a free member too. You won't get access to everything, but you'll see more over there than you will just being subscribed here. And yeah, any help is always much appreciated, so like, comment, share, subscribe. It all helps out. I all really appreciate it. And with that, let's get right to the movie. Things start off right away with a funeral. They're burying Vito's father. His brother swore revenge, but just a young boy gets himself killed.
Facciamo le mani, Don Ciccio. Ma ammazzasti a mio marito. Perché non si posi calare. Eppure un figlio mio d'anni, Paolo. Ma Vito. Avi solo 9 anni ed è fisso. Ma un figlio mio è sicco. Iddu, cusciusciuna batte.
Se quando cresce forte.
Bussia non si scanta. Sto piccirino non ci può fare niente.
Quando è grande, se ne viene per fare pennetta.
It's not wrong there.
Tengo solo a chisto.
No.
Fitta, Silli! Chi si muove a Mazzini, fitto!
Figliolo!
Fitto, Mazzini!
Ammazzatelo! Ammazzatelo!
My god, what a way to start a movie. Right away you understand why Vito got into the life. Motivated by revenge, exposed to it very early. He's only 9. Coming to America all alone, with nothing. I said it before, but it's very much an immigrant story. I love the scene, where he's getting processed at Ellis Island. It really was like this, taking in massive droves of people from all over the world.
Vito Andolini from Corleone.
Vito Corleone.
Jesus. It's literally how he gets the last name. Corleone is the location where he was born, the little town.
Tell him he has smallpox, quarantine 3 months.
They did a really good casting job on the kid that plays Vito. Great little opening story. I love the incorporation of religious themes and ideas into a group that, doesn't find it ironic at all. Connie's taste in men has not improved.
You go see your children first, and then you worry about waiting online to see your brother.
Senator Pat Geary of the state of Nevada.
Anthony Vito Corleone.
It's a nice little touch how the senator butchers the name.
Let's cut out the bullshit. I don't want to spend any more time here than I have to. Price is $250,000, plus a monthly payment of 5% of the gross. All 4 hotels, Mr. Corleone.
Now, the price for the license is less than $20,000. Now, why would I ever consider paying more than that?
Because I intend to squeeze you. I don't like your kind of people. I don't like to see you come out to this clean country in your oily hair. I despise your masquerade. The dishonest way you pose yourself.
He's got no self-awareness. He's a corrupt douchebag politician. I like the display of very subtle anger. It's underneath the surface, but you can see it even though he's just, sitting there.
You can have my answer now if you like. My offer is this. Nothing. Not even the fee for the gaming license, which I would appreciate if you would put up personally.
Gangster as fuck.
Hey, you son of a bitch! You look great!
Frank Pentangeli. You can't get in to see Mike?
He's got me waiting in the lobby.
Tom isn't going to sit in with us, Johnny. He only handles specific areas of the family business. Tom?
Hyman Roth always makes money for his partners.
There isn't one Italian in the group here. Come on, let's have a Italian dance.
We're getting married first.
Connie really can pick him.
Men who don't care for you and use you like a whore?
You're not my father!
Then what do you come to me for?
Because I need money.
Why don't you tell him marriage is out of the question and you don't want to see him anymore?
Talking like he's not even in the room, because he's a non-factor as far as Michael's concerned.
Disappoint me.
Tatiana, I'm gonna belt you right in the teeth.
Oh, you couldn't bet your mama.
Michael says that if you can't take care of this, I have to.
Rocco! Ah! What are you doing?
I can't control him, Mikey.
You're my brother, Fredo. You don't have to apologize to me. Clemenza promised the Rosado brothers 3 territories in the Bronx after he died. You took over, and you didn't give it to them.
I welched?
You welched.
Yeah, Clemenza promised them Ugatas. No manja car, no manja Las Vegas, and no manja Miami. Con Hyman Roth. They spit right in my face. All because they're backed up by that Jew in Miami. I want those Rosado brothers dead.
No.
Mort.
I have business that's important with Hyman Roth. I don't want it disturbed. You know my father did business with Hyman Roth. He respected him.
Your father did business with Hyman Roth. Your father respected Hyman Roth. But your father never trusted Hyman Roth. Or his Sicilian messenger boy, Johnny Ola.
Great line.
There's not going to be no trouble for me. Don Corleone. Ciccio. Aborto.
The old man had too much wine.
In 5 years, the Corleone family will be completely legitimate. That was 7 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm trying, Doc.
There really isn't getting out. I mean, it's a great theme throughout all the mob movies, but there is no escape. Once you're in the life, you're in the life. People delude themselves thinking, I just have to make, X amount of money, or I just need to make things, calm, and then I can leave. And it never, ever works out. Here we go.
Why are the drapes open?
I love how they shoot at the mirror that he's crawling towards. They think it's him. That may be the only thing that saved his life in this scene.
I'm alive.
We'll try.
Rocco! Alive!
He has to know who sent him.
You're the only one I can completely trust. Fredo, he's got a good heart, but he's weak, and he's stupid. You're gonna take over. You're gonna be the Don.
He still thinks he can get out.
I'm trusting you with the lives of my wife and my children. One thing I learned from Pop was to try to think as people around you think. Now, on that basis, anything's possible.
Looks like they were hired out of New York. I don't recognize them. We won't get anything out of them now.
Yeah, he ordered that they be taken alive, but easier said than done. Also, pretty clear to Michael that there are people inside that he can't trust. Purposefully killed the shooters so they wouldn't be able to talk.
I could help you.
That's the last thing he wants. Now we get the first of the flashbacks. The White Hand. Black Hand, sorry. I said White Hand because of his suit.
Lasciala lì. Per piacere, lasciala lì.
Lenti. Io faccio che tu stai pensando, Vito, ma tu non capisci come sono le cose. Fanucci appartiene alla maniera e tutto vicinanza lo pagano, ci sono soldi.
Allora, perché sconosci l'altro italiano?
Yeah, immigrants often get targeted by the mob. They're an easy target. They can't ask for help in most cases. So you see, Vito has a real job. You know, he's working hard, getting by, like, just barely, but he's doing it. Even after escaping from Sicily, after, you know, the mafia don killed his family, essentially, he still works a normal job, but it's difficult to escape it. I always felt bad for the shopkeep.
Vito, le cose vanno malamente. Manucci, chiamano nipoti. Você ci aveva dato tutto con me. E você è stato sempre buono con me da quando ero picciriccio. E io come scordo.
Portici chi sta tuo figlio.
Grazie lo stesso.
Per favore, Vito.
Grazie lo stesso, ma non posso accettare.
È per tua famiglia.
He's a good guy. Forced into letting Vito go, even though he was a really good worker, do a favor for the Black Hand.
Il sogno Clemenza, ce l'hai ancora le cose?
C'è un amico che aveva un tappeto buono. Può essere che a tua moglie ci piace. Sto figlio di puttana non c'è in casa. Non creo che si arraggia.
Meeting Clemenza, the Don, you know, squeezing the neighborhood that he lives in.
Mr. Roth?
Come in, Michael.
Frank Pantangeli came to my home, and he asked my permission to get rid of the Rosado brothers. When I refused, he tried to have me killed. The important thing is that nothing interfere with our plans for the future.
I love the subtle little gesture between the two of them when they know they need to talk business, and Roth just, you know, turns up the volume really high as Michael closes the door.
Not even your father would dream that such a thing could be possible.
And Pantangeli is a dead man.
These small potatoes.
I love the brilliant plan that Mike has where he blames Frank Pantangeli for the hit, even though it's obvious that it's Hyman Roth and his men doing it. They have some insider that Mike has to worry about. The problem with the plan, though, is Pantangeli takes it seriously when he suggests publicly aligning with Roth to get close to him. Frank can't deal with that shit, so Mike accidentally makes an enemy just because of, you know, how hot-headed Pantangeli is.
I didn't want you to know I was coming.
I almost died myself. It was all so relieved.
In my home! In my bedroom where my wife sleeps! Where my children come and play with their toys.
Anything. What can I do?
Settle these troubles with the Rosado brothers.
Mike, I don't understand. That Hyman Roth in Miami, he's backing up those son of a bitches.
I know he is.
Why do you ask me to lay down to him, Mike?
It was Hyman Roth that tried to have me killed.
Jesus Christ, now look, let's get them all. Let's hit them all now while we got the muscle.
This used to be my father's whole study. He taught me, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
Great line.
He's gonna think his relationship with me is still good. That's what I want him to think. Then I'll be able to find out who the traitor in my family was.
Speaking of traitors...
Vito, this is Johnny.
You got me in deep enough already.
Your brother's not gonna find out we talked.
So people sometimes get confused with what's going on, but Hyman Roth set up the hit. Mike knows that. He goes to Hyman Roth, blames it on Frank Pantangeli. Mike tells Pantangeli about his plan, but after what happens with this meeting between the Rosada brothers, Frank really thinks Michael, set him up, so that's why he agrees to cooperate with the FBI.
Michael Corleone says hello.
People often get confused by that line. Mike did not set up the hit on Frank Pantangeli.
Friend, a cop. What the?
Is that something on the floor?
Carmine, no, not here, not here.
Anthony! You open your fucking mouth, I'll pull you!
So Frank survives the hit. That little, Michael Corleone sends his regards line that they threw in there, that was just them being spiteful. They wanted him to think he was betrayed by his own people. A little insult right before they kill him. But the problem is, Frank survives the hit, so then he's convinced that Michael really did, betray him, which he didn't.
I thought I could help you, Senator. This girl has no family. Nobody knows that she worked here. It'll be as though she never existed.
The politician is even more of a scumbag than the actual mafia people. At the beginning of the movie where he's trying to, pretend that he's a good person as he's negotiating a bribe. Here we are in Cuba, right before the revolution.
I want to thank this distinguished group of American industrialists for continuing to work with Cuba. Vice President of the Pan American Mining Corporation. Mr. Robert Allen of South American Sugar.
The Cuban government was so fucking corrupt right before the revolution. They literally sold off entire shares of the Cuban economy, different sectors, to oligarchs essentially, which is basically what this is.
Mr. Hyman Rose. Senor Hyman Rose.
In exchange for, funding.
This kind of government knows how to help business. That we have now what we have always needed, real partnership with the government. At the time of my retirement or death, I turn over all my interest in the Havana operation to his control. And we've saved a piece for some friends in Nevada to make sure that things go smooth back home.
A rebel was being arrested by the military police. And rather than be taken alive, he exploded a grenade he had hidden in his jacket.
The soldiers are paid to fight. The rebels aren't.
What does that tell you?
They can win.
Yeah.
The 2 million never got to the island. I wouldn't want it to get around that you held back the money because you had second thoughts about the rebels. 90 miles away, partnership with a friendly government. Just one small step, looking for a man that wants to be president of the United States and having the cash to make it possible. We're bigger than U.S. Steel.
He's talking about a level of corruption that topples world governments. Like, that really is his vision. The government that, preceded Fidel Castro's rise was incredibly corrupt. It's why he became so popular and the revolution was so successful. That's not an endorsement of Fidel Castro, by the way. He was an evil, horrible man who deserved to die.
Anybody I know in Havana?
I don't know. Hyman Roth? Johnny Ola?
No. I never met them.
Mama used to tease me. She'd say, you don't belong to me. You were left on the doorstep by gypsies.
You're no gypsy.
I was mad at you.
He comes very close to confessing it, but then he thinks better of it.
Before I reach my hotel, I'll be assassinated.
It was Roth that tried to kill me in my home. He acts like I'm his son, his successor, but he thinks he's gonna live forever.
Up until this point, Mike does not know, who the inside man is. He thinks of all people he should be able to trust his brother. That's why, he goes to Tom first, puts him in charge while he's dealing with Hyman Roth in first Florida and then Cuba. It's Fredo. He thinks he can trust Fredo, so...
Who had Frank Pantangeli killed?
The Rosado brothers.
Who gave the go-ahead?
He doesn't even know Frank survived it.
There was this kid I grew up with. He was younger than me. Sort of looked up to me, We did our first work together. Worked our way out of the street. Things were good. We made the most of it. During Prohibition, we ran molasses into Canada. Made a fortune. Your father, too. He had an idea to build a city out of a desert stopover for GIs on the way to the West Coast. That kid's name was Mo Green, and the city he invented was Las Vegas. Someone put a bullet through his eye. When I heard it, wasn't angry. I knew Mo. I knew he was headstrong, talking loud, saying stupid things. I let it go. And I said to myself, this is the business we've chosen. I didn't ask who gave the order, because it had nothing to do with business.
That's a great line.
The money's on the table. I'll know I have a partner. If it isn't, I'll know I don't.
Mike knows he doesn't have to keep up the charade for much longer.
Johnny Ola told me about this place. Old man Roth had never come here, but old Johnny knows these places like the back of his hand.
He's supposed to not know Johnny Iola. Mike knows who the traitor is. He feels sick to his stomach. Goodbye, Johnny. Roth is almost dead on his own.
I know it was you, Fredo. You broke my heart.
Renuncio para evitar más derramamiento de sangre y salgo de la ciudad inmediatamente.
Yeah, they need to get the fuck out of here. Rebels are encroaching on the city right as he's making this speech.
Come with me. It's the only way out of here tonight. Fredo, come with me.
Kay had a miscarriage. She lost the baby.
Was it a boy?
Mikey, after 3.5 months.
Now, can't you give me a straight answer anymore? Was it a boy?
I really don't know.
So the reason he becomes more cold to Tom after this is because he put him in charge of, protecting his family. And as far as Michael is concerned, him coming back and learning that there was a miscarriage is him not doing that. It really is that simple. And it's why, after that scene, he's going to get more openly antagonistic towards Tom.
Te lo dice che tu lo dici tu che stai trecchetto. E manco lo vestito mi mette mandarlo a casa. E che rispetto hai?
He wants his peace.
Per non comandare. Poi sbirri ti vengono a casa. E tu e tutta tua famiglia venite disonorati. Capisci, paesano?
Oh, capisci. Ma i soldi o la spada con amici miei. Prima a parlare con Izzy.
Quindi succedi su non pagamo.
Tu li conosci all'amici suoi. Veramente belli.
Perciò, perché ci hanno mandato a vincere hanno suscitato monete?
Se voi oggi siete d'accordo, perché omerate 50 scudi l'uno per pagare a Fanucci?
Tu ci reggi 200. Non c'è niente da fare, vedi.
Ha ragione io. I take everything. Ma solo ricordatevi che vi feci un piacere.
This is really impressive. So he gets $50 each from them. He's going to take care of Fanucci so he's no longer a problem. And his friends think he did them a favor. It's really fucking brilliant. And it shows, just how intelligent Vito always was, even from the get-go. He got dragged into this thing by Clemenza just being his neighbor, throwing some guns through his window.
I'm making an offer you don't refuse.
Now, this has to be my favorite scene in the entire movie. Fanucci's walking through the streets with, such confidence, like he just owns the world. And Vito, tracking him like a bird of prey almost on the rooftops. So fucking cool.
Dove fai?
Timed it perfectly with the fireworks going off. I was gonna break the gun apart, throw it down all the little chimneys.
The boss says push a button on a guy. I push a button. See, Senator?
You mean you kill people?
Yeah, that's right, Counselor. Yeah, Counselor. Michael Corleone.
Did you ever get such an order directly from Michael Corleone?
No, I never talked to him.
Hyman Roth seeking a senatorial committee on Michael to publicly expose him. So at this point, Vito has become, the boss of this neighborhood. He basically has Fanucci's old position, but he treats the people a lot better. Doesn't take as much from them, actually does favors.
Non è che la mia moglie, signor Colombo,
Mi resi che senza nuda ragione ha parlato. Stai a casa. È un'altra famiglia.
So this guy is very dismissive because he has no idea who Vito is. But after he finds out, it's hilarious when he goes back to his shop, like completely changed his tone.
Spiegati chi sono. Io uomo scordo. E spiaci amici tuoi in sto vicinato che sono io.
Now he returns after having talked to a friend who explained that this guy's the Don. Do not piss him off, he will kill you.
Capiamo male, ma non come ne capiamo male. Ma come? I soldi che mi restano. Vi torno il rent. The rent stays like before. Mi piace stare con voi, sapete, perché capisci che voi siete un amico vero con me, ma io stavolta proprio, ma io sto perdendo.
Italian Americans are among the most loyal, most law-abiding, patriotic, hard-working American citizens in this land.
His tone is completely changed once they got that little dirt on him. Now he'll say and do anything that Michael wants.
He has stated that you are head of the most powerful mafia family in this country. Are you?
No, I'm not.
You devised the murder of the heads of the so-called five families in New York to assume and consolidate your nefarious power.
It's a complete falsehood.
They don't have anything concrete, but that's where Frank Pentangeli comes back in. He's not dead. They're about to learn about that. And he's been living on a military base with FBI guys. It's ironic that Hyman Roth uses Frank, of all people, to ultimately go after Michael and really do something that finally nails his feet to the fire. But again, Frank is now convinced that Michael wanted him dead, which he didn't.
He engineered it, Michael. Frankie went to make a deal with the Rosado brothers, and they tried to kill him. He thought you double-crossed him.
It's on an army base, 24-hour guards.
No way we can get to him.
I was kept pretty much in the dark. He said that you were being tough on the negotiations. But if they could get a little help, it'd be good for the family.
You believe that story?
He said there was something in it for me, on my own.
I've always taken care of you, Fredo.
Taking care of me? You're my kid brother, and you take care of me? I'm your older brother, Mike, and I was stepped over.
That's the way Pop wanted it.
It ain't the way I wanted it. I can handle things. I'm smart. Not like everybody says. Like dumb, I'm smart, and I want respect.
You're nothing to me now. When you see our mother, I want to know a day in advance so I won't be there.
The frustration that Fredo feels, the older brother looked over. The fact of the matter is, he's incompetent. He was even before. You saw it in 1 where the hit on his father goes down, barely gets out of the car, fumbles the gun, doesn't even get a single shot off in return. You're just not cut out for it. It's why you were passed over. I get that, he's not happy about that, but he openly betrays his own family is the sin that's unforgivable. Speaking of brothers, this is really clever.
Were you a member of the Corleone family? Did you serve under Capo regime, Peter Clemenza, under Vito Corleone, also known as the Godfather?
I never knew no Godfather.
You are contradicting a sworn statement you previously made to me and signed.
I was in the olive oil business with his father, but that was a long time ago, that's all.
Your sworn affidavit that you murdered on the orders of Michael Corleone. Do you deny this confession?
Look, the FBI guys, they promised me a deal. Michael Corleone did this, and Michael Corleone did that.
His name is Vincenzo Pentangeli.
Is he related to the witness?
He is, I believe, his brother. Sir, this man does not understand English. He came at his own expense to aid his brother in his time of trouble. He's not under subpoena, and his reputation in his own country is impeccable.
I'm going to find out what the hell happened here.
This committee owes an apology. Apology, Senator.
Very clever. It's a threat without issuing an actual threat. And Frank knew it immediately what it was. Like, oh shit, I gotta get him out of this.
What really happened was Pentangeli, Michael. All he had to do was show his face.
Yeah. I like her growth from 1 to 2. She's way too naive in 1 until the very end of the film when the first, little bit of doubt comes into her mind at the, the final scene.
I know you blame me for losing the baby. I'm gonna change.
Oh, Michael. Michael, you are blind. It wasn't a miscarriage. It was an abortion. I didn't want your son, Michael. I wouldn't bring another one of your sons into this world. It was a son, and I had it killed because this must all end. There would be no way, Michael. No way you could ever forgive me. Not with this Sicilian thing that's been going on for 2,000 years.
You won't take my children.
I will.
You won't take my children!
You're my children.
That is really good acting. I love this part. Now that he's a well-established boss, he can finally get revenge from his childhood. If he lives, he will grow to manhood and seek revenge. The Don wasn't wrong.
Vito Corleone. Vito Corleone. Ti pigliaste un nome di sto paese. Sto padre, come si chiama?
Il padre si chiama Antonio Andolini e questo è Petit.
Man, literally carved him up like a turkey. That is not forgiveness.
The High Court in Israel turned down his request to live there as a returned Jew.
It would be like trying to kill the president. There's no way we can get to him.
If history's taught us anything, it says you can kill anyone.
Great fucking line.
You've won. You want to wipe everybody out?
I don't feel I have to wipe everybody out, Tom. Just my enemies.
When a plot against the emperor failed, plotters were always given a chance.
Their families were taken care of, Tom. They went home and sat in a hot bath, opened up their veins, and bled to death.
Don't worry about anything, Frankie 5/8.
I love that line. She won't see her kids again for at least a decade. If the shooter is willing to die, that's all it takes.
Jesus.
Just like Frankie said.
Hail Mary, full of grace.
I like the addition of the flashback.
Risk their lives for their country.
Your country ain't your blood. You remember that.
I don't feel that way.
Don't feel like that. Why don't you just quit college and go to join the army?
I did. I enlisted in the Marines.
What's wrong? Hey, come on, knock it off. Come on.
We're reminded of Michael the idealist, recognizing what his family is and wanting not to become that, which is great where, given where his character is right now.
He and I have talked about your future.
Talk to my father about my future. My future.
There's a universe where Mike comes back from the war, marries Kate, says adios to the family, has a normal life. There's a level of regret there. And also, willing disillusionment because, like I said in the beginning of the film, he's constantly talking about how, he's going to go legit, he's going to get out, and it's a lie they all tell themselves. The years pass. Okay, took some time just to gather my thoughts. So that was The Godfather Part II. Amazing, a fantastic revisit to have up on the channel. Definitely one that, every reactor is like, what movies do I want on my channel? And The Godfather Part II are definitely among them. They are in very good company in, that discussion. Always, never ever going to change. So one of the things I love about this film and the first one is the fact that we get Vito Corleone in the first one, played by Marlon Brando. Terrific actor, widely regarded as the best actor of his generation, and he plays Vito Corleone, when he's well past his prime. He's in his senior years, he's getting towards the end. And the great thing about this film is we get Vito Corleone when he's a little boy. His story first starts out. You see how his entire family was wiped out by a mafia don. He escapes to America, kind of gets thrown into the life by happenstance. He's like trying to lead, a normal life, work at an honest paying job. Clemenza literally throws guns to him through his apartment window and then, drags him along for the first job the two do. You see how he gets pushed into the life almost? And the cool thing about Vito Corleone in this film is it's played by Robert De Niro. He was like the rising new star at the time, and that's really cool because given, the success of his career, he's widely regarded as the best actor of his generation. You've got Brando in one and Robert De Niro in two, and it's like this passing of the torch because they both play the same character just at different stages of their life. It's a little beautiful connection that I've always appreciated, especially now having seen all of Robert De Niro's movies and knowing just how good of an actor he really is, how legendary of a career Robert De Niro really has had. It's a perfect little, we're coming up on the end of, our revisit series with Robert De Niro in the focus, it just ties in so well with what's going on with the channel, and also, how I feel personally about the actor and the performance. I know a lot of people prefer 1 to 2. I am the opposite. I prefer 2 to 1, and a big part of that is because of Robert De Niro. He won an Oscar for his performance as Vito Corleone. Well deserved. Just so many cool scenes with him. The fact that we get to see the flashback of his story, the boy on Ellis Island going through immigration. I love how he gets dragged into the life as, a young man trying to start a family. My favorite scene in the entire film has to be where Don Fanucci is walking through the city street during the parade. Vito Corleone is stalking him on the rooftops, eyeing him like a bird of prey, and it's so good. And it leads up to one of the coolest death scenes in any of the films easily. The thing about 2, that little added extra is what Robert De Niro brings to the table. And he could do a little bit more than Brando, again, because Brando played Vito Corleone. He's well past his prime. He's in his twilight years. But this is Vito when he's just starting out. We see what he's really capable of. One of my favorite scenes has to be where he convinces his friends to pay in less money, the $50 each, thinking that, he's doing them a favor. He's going to convince Fanucci to, accept this lesser money. He has it all figured out. And really, he has every intention of killing Fanucci in the moment and then just pocketing the money. And he also has done a favor for his friends. Like, that to me is the essence of the character. Very intelligent and shrewd, and also very capable. And yeah, I just love that. He convinces his friends that he's doing them a favor, takes their money from them, kills Fanucci so he's no longer a problem, so they wouldn't have to pay him to begin with. And it's just, like, that to me is the essence of the character, like what he's all about, how clever he is, how capable he is. And in the moment when he needs to be, how ruthless he is. And yeah, that's the character, like, to a T. I also prefer the fact that, in 1, Michael is struggling with this whole idea of joining the family business, becoming a part of it. By the time we get to, the beginning of 2, he's well established as a Don. He's been running things quite successfully for years now, 7 years actually. And, there's a little part of him that has tried to convince himself that he's going to go clean. Ultimately, we know that's a lie. That's not who he is. He said to Kate, give him 5 years and the Corleone family will have gone completely legitimate. And it's been 7 years and they're still nowhere near that reality, because ultimately Michael knows that that's a lie. He's convinced himself that, he really wants that, he's really working towards that, but things just keep happening that pull him back in, and there is no out. Once you're in, you're in. Throughout the entire movie, we have Michael Corleone as the Don, not as, the not-so-sure kid trying to figure things out. We just have him as the Don, making decisive moves, being ruthless in the moment. It's this very subtle display of anger that I really am impressed with by him. Probably one of the best early examples of it is, you have that senator who comes to his house who's taking his money, and he insults him, he insults his entire family. He basically shakes him down for a bribe, and Michael in his chair says, "You can have my offer now, Senator, if you like." Nothing. It's one of the coldest lines, but also you can see just in his eyes the anger that he has for this person. He has the wherewithal to keep that in check in the moment. He only really loses his temper in a couple of key moments. The assassin that tries to take him out and his family, he tells Rocco, I want him alive. And he's like, we'll do our best, but it's not going to be easy. He's like, Rocco, alive. The other one, of course, is when Kate confesses that it wasn't a miscarriage, it was an abortion. Then he loses it there. And again, you see it, like, it's slowly building, like his eyes are like searching because he doesn't know what to say or do in the moment. It's just like boiling over within him. That's another thing. I like Kate in this movie way more than I do in 1. Kate in 1 is very naive and too accepting of just whatever Michael says. The only little flicker of doubt comes at the very end of 1 where, she asks him, Michael, is it true? And he tells her, no, it's not true. She does accept that in that moment, but there's that scene at the very end where she's looking through the door as everyone's, like kissing the ring, so to speak, and the door shuts, and she has just that little introduction of doubt that the character is like, okay, maybe my husband really is all the awful things that everyone says he is. By the time we get to 2, she's been lied to so many times, she knows, okay, I'm just fooling myself at this point, so she actually takes some decisive action, which I can honestly appreciate. I said in 1, girl, you should run for the hills, and really should have never gotten mixed up with Michael again. He disappears for years at a time, just shows back up, and then all of a sudden they're on again, and it's just like, why would you do that to yourself? But yeah, both movies have great, one-liners, great standalone scenes that you can watch over and over again. They're both terrific movies, S-tier quality filmmaking from, again, Francis Ford Coppola, legendary director. Just amazing job overall. No complaints from him. He's had a wonderful career. These two films are like his magnum opus as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, there's not really a ton to say about it. I just feel like I've seen these films so many damn times. Enjoyed watching them each and every time that I've seen them. They are in the discussion for greatest films of all time. Rightly so, in my opinion. For anyone that enjoys movies, these two are definitely on the list of films you have to see. In fact, I think they're literally on the top 100 films list that you have to see. With really good cause, too, because they're just amazing films. Great acting, great directing, an amazing story, an American story, an immigrant story. Mob movies, very, very popular. I mean, there's really nothing else to say about it. So, yep, that's pretty much all I got. So, as always, thanks for watching, and peace.